Whether it be wealth management or taxes, you need an expert. You need a man like Marcus Warren of Warren Wealth Management. He joins me once again, and we're going to talk about a number of things, and I think this is interesting. You have a topic, which I love, investor behavior and emotions. Because that, you would think, hey, I'm just looking at stats, but people react differently, and some take risks, some do not. Let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, so, investor behavior is really what drives the market. You would like to think that, or really most people would like to think that they are rational investors, and that's pretty much not true at all, John. It's not true at all, and it's simply because there's this fallacy about what's called linear assumption, right? So the quickest route from point A to point B is what? It's generally a straight line.
Right.
Straight line, right? And when we talk about linear assumption, we know that the market, this general stock market, has averaged about 8 to 10% over its existence, right? But we know that it doesn't move in a straight line. You don't get 8 and 10% each and every year, right? It moves more like this, up and down, up and down, up and down. And because it moves up and down, that's where the emotion comes in, right? And those two emotions that investors are always faced with are fear and greed, and it drives them crazy.
So fear and greed, okay, those drive that. But I agree with you. There are some people, though, who they don't even look at the statistics, where they just seem to have a knack for knowing when to buy and when to sell. But is that really based on gut feeling, or is that someone who really follows the market closely and knows where the trend and where it's moving?
No, so your average individual investor would like to say that they have this gut feeling, and most of it is what I call hindsight investing. Right. So they invest on a whim because they heard their neighbor Cletus talk about a good stock, so they jump in, and then lo and behold, it ends up higher than what they got it for, and now they're a genius, and they think that, hey, I have a knack for this. And the reality is, because the statistics basically show that no one really has a knack for trying to time the market or pick stocks, and it's because of those emotions, fear and greed. And so I think they're going to show something here on the screen, but the market moves up and down, and these emotions, fear and greed, it causes investors to do the wrong thing. They do it at the wrong time, and they do it all the time, because people like to buy when they feel good. And you can see from this chart here that when people are excited and people are happy, that's when they want to get into the market, right? Sure. They want to get in, and then they get in, the market's hot, and then it starts to turn a little bit and go down and then go down. Then we have a crash, and people get upset, angry, they panic, and that's when they want to jump out, right? And so that's the way that people have done it for a long, long time, when in fact, what have you been told you're supposed to do? You're supposed to buy
low, sell high.
Yes, buy low and sell high.
But you're saying that's not the case?
No, because of these emotions right here, the cycle of market emojis, people do the opposite. They tend to get in this perpetual cycle of buying high because they feel good, and then getting out when it's low. And actually, when it's low, that's the best time to maximize your financial opportunity. Oh,
I see. So because don't let that fear drive you, right? Because if you can hang on, if you can weather the storm, is that what you're saying? You could benefit from that.
Yeah, and it's like this. It's because I deal with a lot of individual investors, and it's like this. When it's just tough, because when you're fearful, when the market drops down and it hits your local news stations, right? Because people really aren't paying attention. Teachers are teaching. Policemen are policing, carpenters are carpenting, whatever they're doing, and so they don't pay attention. But then it comes into their zeitgeist, and then all of a sudden, that's when they're like, "What? The market's down? Oh, the economy's down. Everything has dropped." That's when they want to pull out. And it works the opposite way. When they hear the market's at all-time highs, everything's fantastic, that's when they feel good, and that's when they get in. Oh. And that's what messes them up most of the time.
Emotions, that's what it's all about. Okay, yeah. Let's talk about some individual stocks or specific stocks here. American Airlines. Okay, we're going to take a look at this. You going to break it down a little bit for me here, Marcus?
Yeah, and so the reason I bring this up is because it goes into the theme of behaviors, right? And so over the last month or a couple of weeks to a month, I've been asked by a lot of investors, and some of them are my clients, hey, Marcus, should we get into the travel industry with the vaccine rollout and people are feeling good and people are going to start traveling again? Should I get into these travel stocks, right? And so American Airlines is one, and it goes to what I was telling you. People They want to buy when it's high, right? Back last year in March,
That'd have been the time.
I couldn't get people to get into American Airlines. They wanted to get out. And so lo and behold, American Airlines is up 121%. And now they want to get in.
So if they'd have got in when you suggested they do so.
Yeah, you're supposed to buy low and sell high.
There you go.
And people want to get in right now. Travel stocks. I think there's another one that's going to come
Royal
up here
Caribbean.
too. Yeah, Royal Caribbean. So another one, cruise industry. Couldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole back a year ago. It's up 267%. Now I get the call, hey Marcus, you think I should get in Royal Caribbean? No, not right now. Now it could go up from here, but you missed out on 267%. Why didn't you want to get in when it was low? Because they were fearful.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, yeah, you couldn't see the future, but it was bound to bounce back, and that's what you're saying. Hey, it's low, let's grab it now while everyone else is selling. You buy and then sell when it goes back up. Okay, these all seem to be predicated on travel.
Yes.
Hilton hotels. Okay, let's take a look at that one.
You missed
Tell
out
me what we're
on
looking at.
98%, right? Back in March of last year, it was 61 bucks. It's up 98%. Just like I said, and the reason I'm bringing up a lot of these travel stocks is because I've been getting a lot of phone calls. People have said, hey, things are opening back up. Should I get into travel stocks?
You're late.
It's like, you're late. You're late. They're always late because of the emotions, because they feel good now, right? They feel good. They're happy.
Yeah, there you go.
Greed kicks in.
Okay, and we got Disney stock as well. I want to take a look-see here. So right now, though, if you call Warren Wealth Management, get an appointment set up with Marcus Warren, and maybe he can give you a heads up on what's coming in the future, because you look at all of these trends and you know the way it works.
Yeah, and it basically boils down to having some sort of system for success. You have to make sure that you're working with the good fiduciary advisor who can take the irrationality out of those investment decisions, out all that emotion, that fear, and that greed that kicks in. If you work with a good advisor, they can take that out and say, hey, look, I know you're excited right now. I know you're feeling excited about where the market is heading or where it can head, but no, we have you on this track based on your goals to get you from where you are to where you need to be.
Pump the brakes.
Yes,
All right,
exactly.
yeah, we hear a lot about Elon Musk, and rightfully so. Let's take a look at Tesla stock.
Oh, gosh,
okay,
yes.
Tesla, this is crazy. Okay, explain this.
All right, and so so same thing with Tesla, and really Tesla is an anomaly simply because it's technology focused, and Elon has a lot of, I call them fanboys who just have drank the Kool-Aid, and has caused the stock to go up almost over 600%, almost 700%. But I still have people who call and ask, is this a good time to get into Tesla? And you have to make sure that when you're investing, it can't be gambling or speculating, which most people do. It has to be investing, where you research it, see how it's valued, if it's overvalued, undervalued, and then you can make a good, solid decision.
Wow, you sound like you're truly an expert, and I like the fact. I'd love to pick your brain. Maybe after the show we can talk about what you see right now is the stock to jump on. If you'd like an appointment with Warren Wealth Management, you got a special that you're offering for people who are looking forward to the retirement of their dreams, right?
Yeah, and so basically, if you call the number on the screen or you go to warrenwealth.net, we'll give you what's called our retirement rescue game plan. It's basically sent to your house free of charge. It's a physical packet of information that has a copy of my 2 books, some good financial reports, and then you have access to a couple of my webinars. So I would highly advise people to take advantage of that, because you need a rational advisor to guide you along in that process.
Got to go off script here, Marcus. Okay, so whenever I have people on the show who are very passionate about what you do, what they do, and you obviously are, I'm always curious about their background. How did you know? Was there an epiphany? Maybe when you were in college, maybe grad school, and you said, "This is me. This is my sweet spot." When did you realize this was for you?
It's funny because I was on track to. I was on the law track, right? I was going to go to law school, and then I started as a financial advisor for MCI WorldCom, and then really got into the financial services industry. And really what propelled me was the fact that a lot of people really need guidance and assistance. And if I can provide that, then that's what I wanted to do. And really being in this industry, you really realize that, at first you were thinking you're going to be the stockbroker, buy, sell, right?
Wolf of Wall Street.
Right,
Yeah.
Exactly. And then you realize that you're more of a counselor, an emotional counselor, telling people to pump the brakes or talking them off the ledge.
Let's be smart.
Yes, yeah, it's more psychology than it is numbers, actually. But I love it.
Yeah, and speaking of, pumping the brakes a little bit too. Something else that I think we don't want to talk about, because stocks is fun, but we have taxes, and that's something people are always very apprehensive about, and they don't want to discuss that. But it's important when preparing for your retirement, correct?
Yeah, so there's a lot of different components of retirement. One of them, of course, is investing, what we've been talking about. But the other, even more importantly now, are taxes. Tax rates, tax laws are going to be changing. These current tax cuts change at the end of 2025, which is going to affect millions of people's retirement, and you have to act now to make sure that you don't give too much money to Uncle Sam down the line.
Man, I love the information. You got me excited. I'm thinking about investing. I'm going to be talking to you. Warren Wealth Management. He is Marcus Warren. Once again, give them a call. You can have a one-on-one meeting, or the retirement rescue plan. That may be for you as well. All right, we're going to take a little bit of break here, and then we're going to open up the phone lines, 571-5263. You know that number, because we're going to talk to George Jenkins. If you have a home improvement project, we encourage you to give us a call. George is an expert, and we encourage you to go to chswindows.com to sign up for $1,000 that we'll give away today to someone watching in home improvement project materials. Get started on those windows, maybe a new door. We'll be right back on Wave 3 Listens.